All right, we're going to do a walkthrough of the A4 reflection. Match each study with the appropriate type. So I'm doing question 1. A poll of affluent Americans, those making $75,000 or more, indicates that 57% would rather have more time than more money. So this kind of looks like it looks like a survey or a sampling. So where we're getting a portion of the people, we record the values, and then we do a statistic. So on this assignment, whoops, do I have it set right? There we go. I'm going to say this is a sampling, and I'll go ahead and hit submit. And boom, I have 6 out of the 24 points. It marked it correct. Mrs. Overman uses coin flips to predict how many of the next 20 babies will be girls. So again, let's go back to that. What we're doing here is, because it's not exactly the same thing, this is a simulation. I'm pretending to, I'm pretending to simulate 50-50 chances with a coin, all right? And I'll hit submit. And we got 12 out of 24. Okay, students are randomly assigned to either a paper or computer-based test. Determine if the mode of the test affects their scores. So that would be an experiment. So an experiment is where you take your subjects and you put them in a hat and you randomly assign them to treatments and you record the outcomes, and there you go. So that's an experiment. All of the statistics students, so are polled for their post-high school plans. This is a census, and in case you forgot it, census means we record the data for everyone. So that's why that's a census. So I'll go ahead and submit these two. And we have all 24 points there. On to question 2. Which of the following is not true about observational studies? An individual can usually volunteer to participate. That's true. It can use past data. That is true. An individual gets to choose the treatment they take. That's true. Control groups, we don't usually use control groups because it's very hard to compare. So we're going to say control groups usually aren't used because we're not like making them do that. And placebos technically don't tend to be used. So I'll go ahead and submit that one because that one's a little bit of a harder of a question. And there we go, we got it. And then which of the following is not true about an experiment? Well, individuals do not get to choose which treatment they take. They can volunteer. You can use simulations. You want to use control groups, and placebos may or may not be used for experiments. So I'll submit that. All right, and next question, question 3. Suppose you need to obtain a random sample from the 600 incoming freshmen at a local high school. Identify the 5th person be included in the sample using the random number sequence starting with the first block of 5 numbers. So we're going to use this to look at 600. So I actually pulled this over onto a scratch paper here. The important thing to know, actually let me undo so you can see the 600 incoming freshmen. There we go. So this 600 is very important. That tells us how many digits do I need to model 600. I need 3 digits. So I'm going to use 3 digits, and I'm going to ignore 000 because I got plenty of digits, and from 601 to 999. All right, so that's important to know. So looking at my first set of digits, I'm just going to kind of mark off every third one. And we can see already we're getting some numbers higher than 601. So let's see how far we have to go. I should definitely have enough after that. So my first set of numbers is 289, then 186, then 957, then 885, then 231, 332, 767,099. So let's see if that's enough. So I know I'm going to have to cross off some of these because they're too big. 957 is too big. 885 is too big. And I believe we just wanted the fifth. So this one's good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I did just enough. 767 is good. So we want number 99. So let me go ahead and put 99 and hit submit. And boom, we have it right. Which of the following would be classified as stratified sampling? So stratified sampling, if I go look at the word wall for sampling, so what it is strata are similar types, so like 9th graders, 10th graders, or you could say single people, single parents, families with one kid, where you have 2 parents, 2 kids, 2 parents, and then elderly people. Is this all the strata? No, but I'm just trying to show an example. And the way we draw a stratified sample is we put all the individuals in strata 1, and we take our sample. And then all the individuals from strata 2, and we take our sample. And your sample might look something like this, where you have just some from every type of grouping. So let's go back to our question. So here, survey 25 students from each grade. So if you do, this is called a cluster. Survey all the students in a few classrooms. This one is systematic, where you go every 15th. And this last one is a census. So there you go. That is a stratified sample. And we are taking a survey of 200 high school students to determine the average height of female basketball players in Texas. We get a list of all UIL eligible female basketball players, number them, and randomly draw 200 players. What technique did we use? So that one, whoops, there we go. That sounds a lot like a simple random sample because we threw all the females in one pile and then we're taking our sample. So I'm going to say that's a simple random sample. When you have like a numbered list, it's kind of like what we did with the rectangles. That was a simple random sample. Okay, we put all of the Texas high schools in a hat and select a few high schools and survey all the students at the selected schools. So if I was looking at sampling techniques, that actually looks like cluster samples. So the way cluster samples look at, you have different groups. You pick just a couple of the groups and you survey everyone in those groups. So I'm going to say that's a cluster sample. And we'll go ahead and check our answers now. We're almost done. All right, and so far so good. We get a list of all UIL eligible female players and sort them by the type of the high school they attend, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A. They randomly select 50 from each group. That should remind you of the stratified samples that we did. So it's like we're picking a couple from each group right there. So we would, that was 2A, 4A, 5A, 6A. That is stratified. And at a basketball tournament, we randomly sample every 20th player. So that one actually is kind of like a line where you're doing every nth. And that is one of the easiest ones. You should get these right, I hope. That's systematic. So when they say every blank player or whatever, that's systematic. Make yourself a note. We post an online survey on the UIL basketball website and invite players. That's lazy. That's called convenience sample. So if you just post something on and say, hey, go do that, that's it. And then share here. If any of my explanations did not help and you need some more help, feel free to share it here. Or you could say, oh, that really helped me, whatever it was. All right, we're done. Oh, let me submit for testing to make sure I have 100. Oh, I didn't do a question. Oh, that's because I haven't answered it. But I'm not going to answer it for you. Hopefully, you guys will answer that piece.